Greetings everyone and welcome to another episode of The Headhunter with me, Laban Cliff, coming to you from Kofisi. This time around, not in Karen, but in 9 West, right here in Westlands. Take a look at this magnificent building. We of course continue to enjoy the partnership we have with Kofisi Africa as well. Today we have another interesting guest. As always, we want to get you hunted and make sure you're actually on the Headhunters list. Now, we've always had conversations with people in the corner office, particularly in large corporate organizations, and had less from entrepreneurs. And the conversation that goes on behind the scenes when entrepreneurs go out there looking for people to work with and, of course, work for them as well. So, honored and glad to have none other than Wandia, Gichuru, CEO and co-founder at ShopZetu. Take a look at her magnificent profile. Yes, there she is, and good to have you, Wandia.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure, and of course, I don't know where to start this interview because there's lots of interest and previous conversations, particularly to women, and I think that's largely the space you play around with. Am I part of your target market as well?
Yes, you are, absolutely.
I think
Well, first of all, men buy clothes,
Uh-huh.
and I can see you're a smart dresser. So,
Thank you.
But you don't just buy clothes for yourselves, you buy
Yeah.
clothes for the women in your lives,
Yes.
your partners, your
Yeah.
daughters, your mothers, your sisters.
Ever thought of maybe getting an arm particularly for the men as well?
So on ShopZetu, we carry 105 brands and growing numbers every day. And there are a number of men's brands as well, so yes.
Okay, let's get this ball rolling. So you have chosen the entrepreneurial space and done well while at it. Just take us through some of the, like kind of the leadership lessons and, in all the businesses that you've, put your hands on and how it's been for you.
It's a journey, and it hasn't ended. It continues. I think for any entrepreneur, the early days, you're not really a leader. You're a doer, and you're probably doing almost everything at the beginning. And as your business grows, you have to hire, you have to start to let go, and that's when the leadership role really starts to kick in, and it's hard because you've typically, done it a certain way and you've done it yourself, and now you have to be comfortable with somebody else coming, and sometimes they do a better job than you as well, and you've got to be okay with that. And I think as a business grows and gets larger, more staff, more employees, then really the leadership part of what you do becomes a much bigger. It takes up a lot more of your time and energy.
This it's a buzzword. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do this. But just give us the real deal. How is it behind the scenes? Because go online, ShopZetu. You look at the dresses. They look so nice. I can easily order on M-Pesa, quickly get it delivered to my wife. And it feels good, right? But just take us through the behind the scenes. There's the technology behind it. There's a people factor. There's capital raising. What keeps you awake at night?
Everything.
Oh my.
Everything from, and it's the smallest thing to the
Yeah.
biggest thing. So it
Yeah.
can be one customer whose order is late.
Mm-hmm.
That can be as big a deal as you're trying to raise $1 million. So everything matters. And I think ultimately what you want is you want to have an incredible product and a great service. And you can't afford to let things slip and slide. But it's chaotic. Especially in the beginning when you're putting in the structures, you're putting in the systems. When we hire people, we always say this is a startup. If you're used to things being very organized, very structured, then this might not be the kind of environment that would work for you, because you have to roll up your sleeves. One day, even though your job description may say something, if something has come up and we all have to get involved to make sure that we fix it, then everybody has to get involved. So you've got to be flexible.
And something you mentioned there is about that startup mentality. I know it's a buzzword around corporate circles as well. What is this, lessons that you actually get from, a startup that kind of build that resilience that even corporates themselves are saying, you know what, yes, you work for these large organizations, but have a startup mentality?
Yeah, I think it's really around speed, how quickly you can respond to things, because you're testing, you're learning, you're growing, you're not sure. And you can't take anything for granted. And so just being constantly on top of things, constantly, checking to see what's working, what's not working. The willingness, like I said, to be flexible, to be, very hands-on. So even though their ranks and their titles, at the end of the day, they don't mean that much when things need to happen.
Okay. So I'm going to shift gears. And of course, at the Headhunter, we said we really want to get the folks out there hunted by the likes of entrepreneurs such as yourselves, celebrated entrepreneurs, I must say. There's something we're discussing behind the scenes, and you actually mentioned, wait a minute, I want to get people working for me and not really having to look out them and making myself the employer of choice. So
yeah, I think you want people to be reaching out to you, knocking on your door saying, guys, are you hiring? I've heard, you're a great place to work. And what I was saying also is that these days it's not always about full-time employment. I mean, we partner with a lot of different people from very many different walks of life. We're in the content space, so we work with makeup artists, stylists, photographers, models. I mean, these are not necessarily people who will come in and work full-time, but we have work to do, and we need them. So, I think, as opposed to having to constantly being out there chasing, looking for people, when people realize you're a good place to work, they'll be coming looking for you.
And how do you make yourself like the...
I think first of all, a lot of people, want to be seen, want to be heard, want to feel that they're a part of something that's exciting, that's going somewhere. They want to buy into your vision. They want to see potential for growth. They want to have fun. They want to enjoy coming to work. I mean, we spend more time of our waking day at work than doing anything else. So you want work to be a place that the atmosphere is nice, people are friendly to each other. So all those things matter.
What we've seen perhaps with CEOs such as yourselves is they'll just say, you know what, I don't want to go through all that hassle. You're open here. I don't want to go through that hassle of just trying to go through resumes and go through, profiles.
As an employer?
Yes. I just want to go directly. Like, I know, well, Laban does a good job, and I just want to get him, so I want to hand him directly. But you're open and you're saying, you know what, let's have...
I think there's multiple ways that you find talent, and even if someone comes through an ad, you're still going to check their references. You're still going to ask around. If you know people who've worked with them in the past, you're going to want to know what they were like to work with. But that resume matters, because it's the first thing that people see. And so... there are times that I look at CVs, and if you really take the time and look at the detail, you're like, okay, it seems that they have, relevant experience, but because the CV is so badly written, you're like, if you're not able to market yourself, how are you going to come and market this business? So I do think people need to put a lot of time into thinking about how they want to present themselves.
And things have changed as well. Aside from CVs, guys are going on Instagram, LinkedIn, and really trying to make the case as well on that as well. So I'm trying now to get a bit of a chance from entrepreneurs to now tell us what are the mistakes that people make when they actually approach you and say, you know what, yes, this is, okay, we're talking about the CVs as well, badly written CVs. What are some of your other pet peeves in trying to get the right talent?
First, it's simple things. Like, if you're being interviewed, do a bit of research. Find out about the business. So that if you come informed and you come, having done a bit of homework, that's great. Come to the interview on time, be prepared, and, I think being honest it counts a lot. Like, if you're asked questions in an interview and you don't really know the answer, it's okay to say, that's not something I'm very familiar with. However, I'm sure that I could learn, or I could go and find out, I can go and do some homework. But if you're winging it, usually that will come out. Yeah.
And of course, do you feel like at times you've banked on talent, and then they work for you, and you feel, okay, wait a minute, I made a mistake here?
Yeah, it happens, right? And it could be that they're just a wrong fit. It's not necessarily that they're not capable people, but maybe they're a wrong fit. So often, someone's personality is as important as their technical skills, because do they have the right sort of demeanor? Do they have the right attitude for your organization? And if it doesn't work here, it means they're probably better off somewhere else. So sometimes, the fit just doesn't work.
And you bring in a critical one, that's in the culture. And they actually say that about 60% of the culture organization is actually embedded with the senior management, senior leadership. So how do you now ensure that this culture that people should be attracted to work, with is right?
I think you're trying to create the culture that you believe is going to work for the organization and that's going to work for the customer. And then you try to find people that fit within that culture, as opposed to saying, okay, this is what everyone else wants, because you could be trying to go in too many different directions. So, we're a startup, we have big ambition, there is going to be pressure, there are targets to reach, there are expectations. So, and like I said, there's a need to sort of be flexible and be quick, and not everybody likes and enjoys that kind of culture. So it's important that that's clear up front.
Welcome back to the Headhunter, coming to you from Kofisi, Africa. We still continue the conversation with Wandia Gichuru, this time around taking and speaking to entrepreneurs. We really want to talk to them about their talent needs and their leadership lessons all through. And on the first episode, we had a detail on that. And now let's talk into detail about the core of the business. And Wandia was speaking about ShopZetu. So Vivo, we can, by the way, to our viewers from Kenya and around the world, there's Vivo Mobile, there's Vivo Energy, but this is Vivo.
Vivo Woman.
Vivo Woman.
Yes.
So take us through that, and of course our viewers can see stellar. Great e-commerce, by the way. Congratulations. Across, Vivo, ShopZetu, it's appealing to the eye, and it actually shows that Kenya is actually ready. And we're talking about all this, the power of the mobile.
Exactly.
And e-commerce and how M-Pesa has revolutionized and can actually pay online. People just think you can just do this abroad, but we're doing it right here.
100%.
So take us through the nuts and bolts.
Okay, so Vivo, we started Vivo 11 years ago, and we now have 19, soon to be 20 stores across Kenya. We have one in Rwanda as well. And I think that's given us a really solid understanding of the fashion space in the country, and in particular, what it takes to build a local fashion brand, because a lot of the clothing that you see Kenyans wearing is really not, made locally. And after sort of 9-10 years in, we realized that we needed to get far deeper into the e-commerce space, because a lot of our customers were only able to get our products if they visit the stores. But we wanted to make it a lot more convenient and accessible for people who maybe were not living near a Vivo store. And so we went into the e-commerce space and realized that this was a challenge, not just for us, but for a lot of the different fashion players that are out there. Fashion is very disintegrated. It's a lot of tiny players, many of them doing a great job with their stores or their Instagram pages. Some have websites, but there wasn't one place that you could go and find a wide range of fashion in a very curated way, where you could actually see what the product was. You'd be able to get reviews and see what other people had thought about it. You could trust the platform and know that if we pay for this, we're going to get what we see, and we're going to get it in time. And if we don't like it, we can send it back, we can return it, we will get our money back guaranteed. And there's, Jumia and a lot of these other general marketplaces that have done a great job in, getting people used to ordering online, but they're not specializing in fashion. And so we saw the gap, and we decided to create ShopZetu, which is a fashion dedicated marketplace. It's a one-stop shop where you can come and buy from multiple brands You only have to make one order. We will organize, bringing all those pieces together and deliver it to you for free if you're willing to spend over 5,000 shillings, and and there are other offers as well. And really, what we want to do is just sort of lift the entire fashion ecosystem and make sure that a lot of these players are available online to whoever wants to buy them.
Let me be frank, I actually tried ordering one for my wife, and she said, sorry, that's taken, not available, not available,
dear.
not available.
See, the demand.
So the back end, then how are you meeting that demand? Because honestly, so maybe it's the the great outfits that are really taking.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're the very fast movers. And data is helping us to predict, we can sort of see the demand now and let the different sellers know this is a really fast moving product, please try and make more available. But these are the learning challenges of a new platform as well.
So that's the back end, and now getting it to the store. So are you working with borders, delivery?
Absolutely, we do a lot of in-house. So for us, the delivery is an extension of the customer experience, and we want to be able to bring the flexibility to you. So if you want to pay by cash, from M-Pesa, credit card, if you're not sure of your size and you think you want to have 2 sizes brought so you can quickly try one on, we'll try and meet you where your need is. And so we have our own in-house riders. Sometimes the orders are so many that we'll need to outsource, and so we have partners that we work with as well.
So to an entrepreneur, watching the show, and someone wants to go into such kind of business as well, it's on the e-commerce in Kenya. What are you learning? Because you mentioned about Jumia and Instagram, and one of the insights that we're getting from the Africa e-commerce space is that, wait a minute, folks, youth are actually ordering more on Instagram than on Jumia. For instance, in terms of that movement, what are some of the other things that you're actually seeing in that whole ecosystem?
I think we're seeing the numbers growing all the time, and often people do a lot of looking first. So what we'll see is that people will come to the site, they'll visit it 2-3 times before they place an order. Their first order might be, quite a small one. They're sort of testing the system, but very often you'll see them come back and come back and come back and keep ordering again and again. And I think for us, the main issue is trust. And, are people trusting the platform? Do they feel, if I order this, I'll actually get it? And with clothing, often you may get the sizing a bit wrong. It's not like walking into a store and you can try it on. So we also want to make people feel very confident that if the sizing doesn't work, we can replace it. If the style isn't what you thought it would be, you can get your money back. But there's definitely an uptake in the online shopping. And off a phone. I mean, we see that over 90% of the people who come on the platform are doing it from a mobile phone.
Right. So if not e-commerce space, what other business, and here's an entrepreneur, because I know your eyes, ears are, on the ground. What other space or what other industry do you see, particularly in the region? And you mentioned about Wandia as well, where we're actually going. And I'm saying this because I think post-COVID, we're seeing a lot of interest and energy, because everyone wants to play around in this entrepreneurial space. People lost jobs, yes. People want to get into your space. So what are the other areas
I mean, what I see from first of all, wellness, I think is huge. And it's everything from your mental health. I mean, you cannot get bookings with psychiatrists and psychotherapists or now. I mean, just everybody's getting help, and it's really important. And I think COVID has been tough for a lot of people. And just acknowledging that there are experts out there that can help you. I think gym, fitness, your nutrition, we really are recognizing the importance of the mind, body, soul. It's not just making money. It's like the quality of your life. And I think people in the wellness space are finding, that there's more and more interest in what they have to offer.
Is that a space you're willing to play in?
I mean, it's a space I'm a consumer in. Yes. It's a space that, you never know. I think it's a key part of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. So wellness, any other?
I'm not myself big on cryptocurrency and things like that, but I see more and more interest there. Half the ads you see on YouTube are people saying, hey, invest in cryptocurrencies. So I'm sure that's coming big time into this part of the world as well.
Farming.
Farming, yeah. I mean, I think, you know, the essentials will remain the essentials. You know, people need to eat, people need to dress, people want to have a good time, they want to be entertained. You know, content is huge. Shows like this, you know what I mean? People are just hungry for, you know, learning, growing, you know, being, you know, made to laugh or whatever it's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always sad to kind of get it to the tail end of the show.
Oh.
Conversation gets very interesting.
We're just starting, man. What do you mean?
Well, dangers of TV, but
Yeah.
let's now talk about the women in leadership. I think I'd say particularly the conversations online and, you know, seeing the interest, and anytime you speak, you can actually just tell there's an interest, and there's an interest for people wanting to listen to you. And you've given us a bit of the challenges you have behind the scenes, so it's not all, you know, rosy in running a business. So I think I'm just quite interested for you now to actually inspire the, you know, the young ladies, the girls who really want to play out in the entrepreneurial space or incorporate. What are some of your insights, particularly in leadership, that you'd actually give first to the youth as we...
I think one of the challenges that we have as women is that we tend to sort of hold ourselves back. We don't want to necessarily put ourselves out there, be seen, be heard, scared of criticism, scared of not getting it perfectly right. And so I think, you know, you've got to be out there doing things, taking risks, possibly failing and making mistakes, but that's how you stay in the game. That's how you get ahead. And so, you know, what I say to a lot of young women and old women too, it's not just young ones, is just, you know, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. There are many limitations that are external. That's the reality. I mean, the world is still not fair completely, but the ones that I like to focus on are the ones that we have control over, which is our own mindset. It's our own, you know, self-talk. It's our own willingness to sort of, yeah, get outside our comfort zone.
Yeah. And especially for, and I know you give a lot of talks as well, you know, to career advice as well. And it's always that, okay, no, I'm waiting for the opportunity to be given. I'm waiting for the chance to.
No one's coming. No one's coming to like.
Yeah.
You've got to work for it, and it is work, and it's not just hard work. I mean, one of the things that I think I spend a lot of time around men as well, and some of the things that I've learned is the importance of networking, the importance of people do help you open doors. And you need to help open doors for other people. It all goes around and comes around. So you don't have to be in the golf club, you don't have to be in the bar, but you do have to have conversations. And you can walk up to people and say, hey, I've heard of you. I've read this about you. That's amazing. You know, could you advise me? I'm having a similar challenge. What do you think? And just start those conversations. Most people are very willing to give you advice. And are actually flattered that you want advice from them. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, no matter how successful someone is, they're still like, okay, yeah, let me share a bit of my story with you.
Good stuff. And it builds that element you mentioned about trust as well, you know, in meeting and networking and all that, you know, it helps. So, to be headhunted at ShopZetu or in Wandia Gichuru's list, give us top 3 insights or top 3 qualities you'll be looking for to your target.
People who are team players, and you know, what we've seen is it's great if you're the star, but if you're not a star who can work with a team, then you're not going to help everybody get ahead. So if you're interested in just succeeding for yourself, then probably ShopZetu is not the place to work. But if you're interested in saying, let's all get together, we all have, it's like a football team. It's like you can't be an amazing striker if there's no defense, there's no goalie.
Especially now as you're high growth, so you're really looking for that.
So it's like, you know, let's all come together and work as a team. I think high energy as well, and just an enthusiasm and excitement about what we're trying to do.
So teamwork, high energy, and enthusiasm and excitement.
Yeah, you know, it's commitment, excitement, like you sort of, I mean, we all need
fire in the belly.
Yeah, find
let's
it.
go for it.
Yeah. And it doesn't really matter what part of the business you're in, because nothing happens without the whole. You know, the person who is packing the order has to, you know, be concerned about packing it as well as they can and making sure that it's correct. The person delivering, the person who's creating the content, the person who's, you know, deciding where we put our digital marketing or whatever. All of these, nothing can happen alone. Yeah.
And before I let you go, of course, it's not a question that you get in any other platform, only on the Headhunter. So Wandia Gichuru is the frontliner. She's the one who's out there running the business, taking all the hit. But who's behind you? Who's on your advisory side? Who's pushing you? And basically what motivates you to actually just get ahead as a person?
Okay, I mean, all our consumers, yeah, every single person who comes to the website, who purchases, who comes back again. The team, we're a small team, we're about 30 people at the moment. I have a co-founder, Marvin, who's as hard, well, probably works harder than me. You know, our GM, Diallo, we've got an amazing team. We've got people who have put money behind us. We're just closing a raise now, so we'll be talking about that a little bit more.
And we'll only announce it here on KTN.
Yeah, so I think, and all our partners, like I said, I mean, we, you know, if you want to be part of ShopZetu, you don't have to be an employee or an investor. You can come and help us. You can be a makeup artist. You can be a model. You can bring your brand. I mean, all the sellers. I should have mentioned them first, actually, because without the sellers, we don't have the products. So right now we have 105, 106 brands. I mean, we want that to be 500 by the end of this year. And so we're really trying to attract, and you don't have to necessarily be a made in Kenya brand. You can be importing the product. You know, it's a place for fashion, and a place for fashion for fashion conscious people, you know, people who are looking for trendy stuff, who you know, want to wear something nice to an event next week or whatever else. Come look at what we have to offer. Yeah.
Wandia Gichuru, thank you very much.
Thank
Sorry,
you for having me.
it was very limited time, but that's all we had. The time slot for TV.
Thank you. Have us back again.
Definitely. Part 2 it is. Of course, my producer, Charity, is listening. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for creating time to join us today. We do not even want to close it yet. We'll just say that has been part 1 of the conversation with Wandia Gichuru, just talking about her leadership journey and the insights on how to get you on the Headhunters list. For now, we'll now close the episode. And of course, thank you to you, our viewers, and thank you to everyone who worked behind the scenes to make this show possible. We'll definitely be back same time next week. Stay tuned. I've been your host, Laban Cliff. For now, it's goodbye.